In this video, we're going to go over the basic concept of the terminal in Xubuntu and a couple of commands within it. In the past, you've used operating systems that have primarily a graphical interface to them. Something like this, it has a kind of a desktop motif with files and folders. Now, in Linux and in many operating systems, there is a second way to interact with, well, our file system or how things or what applications are available. Something called a command line interface, right? Instead of a graphical interface. So that's what the terminal is. It's the command line interface to Xubuntu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the desktop and click Open Terminal here. And now I've opened up this new window, and this new window is a copy of the terminal. This is our text-based way to interact with our system. And here you can see it has some text already. It says Ruben at ruben-virtualbox:tilde/desktop. And then a $sign at the very end. This is our kind of our prompt waiting for us to enter stuff. Instead of double click on files, in order to issue commands, what we'll have to do is we'll have to type specific things in here. Now, just to break down this line a little bit, the front part where it says Ruben is basically the user that's logged in at and then the name of the machine. So this is actually from when we installed the operating system. Ruben-virtualbox is the name of this computer, this virtual machine. And over here, it's showing us basically where we are in the system. So right now we're at desktop. That's kind of the default when we open up terminal. In fact, maybe you guessed it from me right clicking and saying open terminal here. If I was somewhere else, like for example the main file system, and I was in, let's say, lib, if I were to go and try to open up a terminal here or in one of the subdirectories, it'll look different. So here you can see it's in lib init, so it's a different folder. All right, let me close that one and go back to the first one. So what can we do here? There's a couple of very common commands I'm going to start by introducing. ls and cd. ls is what we want to start with. So ls has been entered here, and you can see a couple of things show up. What you see here is folder 1 and then netbeans-8.2.desktop. Basically what you're seeing are the two files that are available on desktops. These over here, folder 1 and then our shortcut to NetBeans. They're showing different colors to represent that they are different things. So blue is representing the fact that we have a folder. Green is representing something that we can basically double click on, that we can execute to open up NetBeans. ls is basically listing out the contents of this folder. I can also do something like type ls-all and get a little bit more information. Here now I have the creation time, and the file, the space it takes that the file takes up, and then some information about the privileges. Owner of the file as well. Don't worry too much, this is a little bit more details than we need right now. Now let's take a look at the cd command. So the cd command, cd stands for change directory. So I can type cd folder 1 and it'll change me folders. So now you notice at the bottom it says desktop/folder 1. So I've now changed where I'm at. And now if I type ls, you'll see it has different stuff. It has file 2 and random file. If I open up folder 1 on desktop just the graphical way, you'll see that there are two things in there. I'll go ahead and close that. Now what I can do is I can type cd ... to move back out of it. So now I'm back at desktop. Maybe I move back again, do another ls. Here you can see all these other folders are all in blue, right? Do cd downloads, do an ls, nothing in downloads. Let's go ... Maybe let's go into the NetBeans folder. This is actually a computer where I've installed NetBeans. Different stuff available. You'll notice I have kind of plain files. Those are things in white, folders in blue, and then things I can run, like the uninstaller, in green. Again, I can type cd ... and move back. Let me go to my desktop again. I want to try something else. So I have here folder 1. Let me try going folder, lowercase, folder 1. Again with a cd. Notice what happens is I get an error back. So bash, the thing that processes commands, it's a piece of software, don't worry about it too much right now, they say that there is no such file directory. So one of the takeaways here is that Linux is a case-sensitive operating system. cd folder 1 lowercase is different than cd folder 1 with the uppercase F. That's the one we want, right? So you have to be careful when you type in things that you type them in with appropriate case. ls and cd are very common commands. I would suggest you try opening up terminal in different places and playing with it in different ways. Let's see, let me go back to desktop, do an ls. Let me see if I can run this file here, NetBeans. Maybe I can open up the NetBeans program. So we'll do this, /NetBeans. So I had to add this little bit in front. Basically, if you want to enforce that you're running a file in the current directory. Put that off to the side. If I want to enforce that, I put a / in front of it. So if I want to make sure I'm running the NetBeans in the current folder. Let me go ahead and close that program. I don't really need the IDE. So last thing I want to mention here is the sudo command. So sudo, and I'll just do sudo ls. It'll ask me for my password, and it just shows me the contents of the folder. Nothing really changed here. So what sudo is a command to elevate privilege. So basically, if you just run an application from here, it's not going to have very many privileges to permanently change things. Doesn't really have admin rights of any sort. So sudo gives us a little bit more privileges, not everything, right? It's still kind of a little bit safe, but it gives us a little bit more ability to change things. Okay, so oftentimes we have something like an installer or an updater. We'll need to use the sudo command before that program to actually be able to do something. So for example, real quick, let's say I wanted to patch my system. What I would have to do is I have to do something like this. I have to do sudo and then the name of the program that grabs the updated files. So here I can do sudo apt get update, checks to see what patches are available, and I need that sudo in front of it in order for this to actually work, right? Because that's a system tool, right? It needs to have rights in order to be able to look at everything.